Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It is your girl, Wildflower Tea, and thank you all so much for being here with me on this beautiful Friday. If you seen the thumbnail, you know that we are going to be talking about a little bit more about spina bifida and just educating ourselves. For those of you who are not aware, and then I will turn to chat and say hello to everybody. But October is actually Spina Bifida Awareness Month, which, of course, just like breast cancer awareness and anything else, this is a time for us to draw attention to the struggles faced by individuals diagnosed with this disorder. I thought this was crazy, but about 1,427 babies are born with this disorder in the United States each year. Just in the United States alone, you guys. And that's when you put it into perspective, at least for me, in my personal opinion, that seems to be quite a bit. And in my personal opinion, like I said yesterday in my live stream, I just don't feel like I personally have heard a lot about spina bifida. There doesn't seem to be a lot of information out there. Even when I was doing my research, it seemed like the bare minimum. And in my personal opinion, the best way to learn is by talking to people with experiences and people who have been diagnosed to get a better understanding of the disorder itself and how it truly does, how it affects your life, both the positives and the negatives. So today, we are going to be having a very good dear friend of mine right here, Miss Peach, aka Miranda. She's going to be coming on to share a little bit more about her journey with spina bifida. And I'm so excited about it, you guys. I've linked a lot of information in the description down below. If you guys want to go and check it out, learn more, educate yourself. There's so many different links for just different things, information, so many different things. I also linked Peach's YouTube channel as well. If you guys want to go and show her some love and support, I know she would greatly appreciate it, and I would as well. Before we hop into this, however, I do want to say hello to everybody and happy Friday. Hey, Caroline, I don't know if you're still here, but thank you so much for stopping by. My brother had spina bifida and hydrocephalus. Happy to support this. Well, and we are going to be talking about both of those as well. Rachel here was very, very kind to send in some answers to some questions that I had. And I mentioned this in my live stream yesterday too, if you guys were able to catch it. But I think the best way to learn about things, and I can say personally that I am highly uneducated on spina bifida, and this has been a really good opportunity for me to learn myself. And that's all this is about, is just a environment and a space for us to learn more about something that I don't feel like gets a lot of attention. But Rachel answered some questions for us, and we're going to be going through that as well. She has a completely different type of spina bifida than Miranda, and I feel like having different perspectives, different journeys, experiences, and almost anything in life is nothing but a positive. It's a good thing because you get to see from so many different perspectives. You get to learn from each person's journey. We all have a different one. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to spina bifida, just a little bit that I have researched and talking to my friend Miranda and also Rachel. I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misinformation people believe about spina bifida that's just not true. So we're going to get into all of that. I do want to say also, just real quickly, I did link a fundraiser. at the top. I pinned it to the top. There's no obligations whatsoever. But if you guys would like to donate to the cause, there's the link. I could not figure out for the life of me how to attach it to this live stream because that's what I wanted to do, but I couldn't figure it out. So I just linked it in the description. It's also pinned in the comment section as well if you guys would like to check it out. I am going to quickly give you guys just a little bit more information on that, just so that you're aware of this fundraiser, what they're aiming to do, and what their goal is, because that's important. It's important to me for anything, to make sure the money is going towards what it says and that the fundraiser is legitimate. And this one definitely is. So I'm going to share just a little bit about it with you guys so that you're also aware. But quickly, I want to say hello, Caroline. Rachel, thank you for being here. Indigo, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for being here and showing support. That means so much to me, and I'm truly, truly grateful, you guys. Hello, Tracy, what's up? Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. Miss Peach, I will see you very soonly. Zuna, what's up, girlfriend? How are you? It's good to see you. Bliss Chris, hello. What is up? Let's see. I just want to make sure I catch everybody. All right. Awesome. Yay. Thank you guys so much for being here for this one. This is something that's very important to me. It's something that I've been trying to put in the works for a little bit. Mostly all the month of October. And I've said this before too, but I'm just very grateful to Peach that she spoke out about this, or I wouldn't have even known. I was doing the way all of this kind of came about is I was doing a sponsorship with Roses Forever, which is still going on. If you guys want to save $20 on your first order and stuff, the link of that is in my community post. But they are doing this thing for breast cancer awareness, and I had shared that on my community post, and Peach came in and made me aware that it is also Spina Bifida month. That's when I really started to kind of look into it, and I was like, you know what? You don't hear, again, in my personal opinion, you just don't hear a lot about Spina Bifida, even in a month where it's supposed to be awareness month. I don't know about you guys, but I've not heard much about any awareness on Spina Bifida. So the more I researched and the more I looked into it, the more I was like, no, I have to do this. I want to do this. Also, the fact that I truly appreciate Peach. She is an incredible friend and mod. She is so supportive, so kind. And if I can support her in return, I want to be able to do that and get to understand just a little bit more. So this is very important to me. I know it's important to Peach as well, and Rachel, and so many others of you who struggle with this disorder. I hope that you guys may see this and feel the support and the love, because that's what this is all about, is just raising awareness and showing support and love. Now, hey, Curls, thank you for being here. What's up? Happy Friday. So just really quickly, I want to go through this fundraiser for you guys so that you know the information. Like I said, I also linked this in the description if you want to do your own research and, gather your own opinions on it. But pop this up. So this particular fundraiser, their mission is to build a better and broader future for all of those impacted by Spina Bifida. It's fueled by dedicated healthcare providers, parents, adults, caregivers, and others who are committed to helping people live longer, healthier lives through research, education and support, clinical care, network building, and advocacy. The research in which they advocate a lot for research to improve the lives of people living with Spina Bifida. And it says this advocacy has yielded the National Spina Bifida Patient Registry, also in abbreviations NSBPR, and the Urologic Protocol for Young Children with Spina Bifida, both housed at Centers for Disease Control. In collaboration with nearly 100 healthcare professionals around the world, SBA facilitated an update of guidelines for the care of people living with Spina Bifida. This process included the identification of research gaps that will be prioritized by the spina bifida community. These research priorities will be used to develop their research agenda, advocate for funding, and encourage the use of the data from the NSBPR. SBA spearheads through the Spina Bifida Collaborative Care Network efforts to improve clinical care for all people living with spina bifida. They'll accomplish this by expanding and strengthening the relationship with clinics and healthcare providers, ensure guidelines and understand implemented by clinics and caregivers. There's a lot of education and support on this as well. I'm not going to read through all of it, but like I said, there's a lot of information on it if you guys want to go check it out. It's the last link in my description, but it does say that through the National Resource Center, the Spina Bifida Association provides one-on-one information and guidance for families, individuals, providers, and others whose lives have a connection with spina bifida. So it's also for loved ones and family members, like support systems and support groups for them. Additionally, SBA offers in-person and virtual programs featuring medical experts, parents, and adults with spina bifida, covering topics such as skin and kidney health, physical activity, mental health, living independently, and more. They're really big on networking and they're expanding on a daily basis. And I implore you guys go and check them out. I would be so appreciative. Again, there's no obligation. Just you being here, showing your support is way more than enough. But the option is there and it's pinned in the comments if you guys would like to go check it out for yourself. Now, let me see. While we're waiting on Miranda to get up here. Oh, yeah, it's K-pop videos. If you guys are into K-pop, Miranda has also started doing some live streams as well. So if you guys want to go show her some love and support on that, I know she would appreciate it. She's still very new, but she's killing it and doing amazing with them. And I've really enjoyed them. I'm usually a part of Replay Crew, but they're always super fun. So her link is down there as well if you guys want to go and check it out. Okay, yes, that's true. I didn't mean to take away from it, but I was just saying no, and you didn't. I just feel like, in my personal opinion, there's awareness months. There's a lot of different awareness months that they share, right? Because there's only 12 months in a year and all this, and you can only do so much. So there's so many different things that people bring awareness to and months are dedicated to. But I feel like I said yesterday, all of them are important. They're all important. Breast cancer is so important. Awareness on breast cancer, any kind of cancer, any disability, it's all very important. But I personally feel like breast cancer awareness, not just even Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but in general, breast cancer does get a lot of awareness. Now, there's never enough. You can never get enough awareness on anything like that. But with spina bifida, I personally hadn't seen a lot of awareness on it, and I don't feel like it's talked about a lot. Now, I know that, in a roundabout, it's rare, and I feel like that plays a part because people don't know about it. Maybe they've heard about it, but they don't know much about the disorder itself. And that's why streams like this, I feel like, are super important, just so that we can learn together and show support, and yeah. Research, I think, goes a long way. Science is an incredible thing, and hopefully we can do some good here, just even if it's nothing else but just showing love and support, and getting the word out there to more people. That's really all my goal is at the end of the day, so okay, while I'm waiting on, hey Caddy, what's up? Hello, I'm so glad you could make it. I appreciate you so much. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. It absolutely does. So much pink, cute stuff. Yes. And it overshadows everything. That's how I feel. And I mean, no offense by that when I do say that, but it's true. It's true. And it's all important, but I feel like it's kind of, for lack of a better word, unfair for spina bifida to have to share October as that month because it is overshadowed, but I also know that it is Oh, I don't want to butcher this. Let me look it up. It's Disability Awareness Month, so maybe that's why, because it's like October is supposed to be awareness for all disabilities, or there's like a specific day that's like Disability Day. Um, let's see. I want to make sure I say this correctly. I don't want to. What is celebrated for the month of October? Okay, hold on. Um, October Awareness Month. This October Awareness Month is a reminder of the positive impact that diversity has on society. Global diversity refers to the differences. See, there's so many things in October, you guys. Hold on. Okay. I want to just quickly, hey Tina, what's up? Hello, hello. We're going to read through some of Rachel's information here in just a few minutes. She had some really good questions or answers to the questions that I had. And Miss Rachel, I think hopefully she's still here in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and for taking the time to even sit down and answer these. I know you're a hard worker and busy, and I just really appreciate it. It says here, though, every October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. It offers opportunity to celebrate the many contributions to people with disabilities to American workplaces and the economy. So that's really cool. Peach is here, yay! Or Miranda. I always go back and forth. I'll call her Miranda and then I'll call her Peach. I don't mean to do that. Hey, girl, how are you?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you good. Can you guys hear her in the chat? Thank you so much for coming up here and chit-chatting with us today. I appreciate you.
No
Sorry it took
problem. I'm nervous, but I'm excited to do this.
Oh, girl, you got this. You got nothing but love here. You know, everybody in the chat, nothing but love. I did put it on subscriber only, just so that it wouldn't be as much coming at once. Um, and you got nothing but love and support here, girl. We support you so much. And I, you know, I have been a massive supporter of yours for a long time, not even just as a creator, but just as a person. Um, so, as a friend, I love to take the opportunity to understand and just get to know a little bit more. Like I've known a little bit of what you deal with. And Miranda, for those of you who don't know, Miranda's not one to complain much. She's not one to really talk about what she goes through or what she struggles with a great deal. And she's always there for everybody else. She's always being supportive and kind to everybody else. And I wanted to be able to have this opportunity to kind of just give that back to you and let you know just how much you're supported and that we care. And you've impacted my life a lot just with your support and love. And I just want to be able to give that back to you a little bit. So I really am grateful that you took this time to do this with us today. And I think it's important. I think nothing but good can come out of something like this. Good.
And
I'm glad you
thank
guys
you
could
for
hear it.
giving me the opportunity to talk about this and
Absolutely.
everything. I was expecting to be able to do this on your channel or anything. So
Oh, yeah,
thank you
girl.
for allowing me to do this.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm just sorry it took so long. It's been just one of those months. But if you
You're totally fine.
yeah, I'm glad we finally got it together. I got it together, should I say. If you if you don't mind, I guess a good place for us to start is if you don't mind maybe talking just a little bit more about the type of spina bifida you had, um, and just giving a little bit more information on that aspect.
Yes, my type of spina bifida it's a hard one to understand, but it's called spina bifida myelomeningocele, which is the most severe form, other than like the ones that are born like without a brain and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
other than that, it's the most severe form of it,
Right.
and
Okay. Go
it's
ahead.
in
I'm sorry.
the lowest part of sorry, it's in the lowest spot of my spine, which is the reason why I am still able to walk and stuff like that at all. It's not very much, but I can walk and stand a little bit.
Oh, wow.
But
Okay. So I didn't even know you could walk at all. So you can walk and stand a little bit, just not for long periods of time.
yeah, it's mainly just like to transfer like from my chair to my wheelchair or my
Yeah.
wheelchair to my car or stuff like that. It's not really like very far. It's just like a couple of steps or something like that.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. So Zuna asked, do you use an aid?
And yeah, not like as far as for my walking and stuff, other than like someone's hand or something like that.
Hmm.
But other than that, I'm pretty much limited to just a wheelchair.
Okay. Okay. So I looked it up here just to give you guys a little bit more information. You can Google this as well. Um, but this particular, can you pronounce it for me one more time? That is a big word. I don't want to butcher it.
And no
Milo.
problem. It's
Sorry.
myelomeningocele.
Okay, Myelomeningocele.
Yes.
Myelomeningocele. That is a
Yeah.
mouthful, girl. Um, so it says here when people talk about spina bifida, most often they were referring to myelomeningocele. Myelomen- That type is the most serious type of spina bifida. With this condition, a sac of fluid comes through an opening in the baby's back. Part of the spinal cord and nerves are in the sac and are damaged. This type of spina bifida causes moderate to severe disabilities, such as problems affecting how the person goes to the restroom, loss of feeling in the person's legs or feet, and not being able to move their legs. Um, so hold on a second. So that's like one of the most extreme. Is it echoing? Can you guys hear an echo or is it just me? I just want to make
I
sure.
don't. I don't. But I don't know about like on YouTube or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Do y'all hear an echo? Crap. Okay, whoever can spell that wins something. I know, girls. It's a big one. It's a big one. There's a bit of an echo. Let me see. It wasn't echoing a second ago. I'm trying to think. Let me try to mute it. Is it echoing now? Yeah, it's still echoing for me. There's a little bit of an echo, but not too bad. Okay. Um, do you happen to have YouTube up in a different tab, Miranda?
No. Let me check and make sure if I can do it without exiting out.
Yeah, yeah. You should
Okay,
be able to
just
stay in here and then just if it is still up, you can exit out of YouTube. Um, that should fix it.
okay. Just a second. If I
No worries.
do, if I do exit out, I'll jump back in.
Okay, no problem. We'll be here. I'm gonna keep reading on this anyways. All right. So, so we're gonna learn more about this here in a minute. I asked Miranda a lot of questions, and she was so kind to answer them for me. But I'm gonna go through all the types with you just so that you guys are aware. So there's that one, myelomeniingocele, and then there is meningocele, just not without the myelo, meningocele, which is another type of spina bifida. And it's where the sac of fluid comes through an opening in the baby's back, but the spinal cord is not in the sac. There's usually little to no nerve damage, and this type of spina bifida can cause minor disabilities. So there's disabilities, but minor disabilities. And then um, the last one, I believe, according to this, is occulta, and I hope I'm saying that right. And it's spina bifida occulta is the mildest type of spina bifida. It is sometimes called hidden spina bifida. With it, there's a small gap in the spine, but no opening or sac on the back. The spinal cord and the nerves usually are normal. Many times, spina bifida occulta is not discovered until late childhood or adulthood. This type of spina bifida usually does not cause any disabilities. So it's not found until later on. It's still Miranda's not echoing, just Wildflower. Yeah, I know. I hear me, but I don't know where it's coming through from. Um,
Yeah, I don't know because I exited out of the tab that had the YouTube, so I don't know. It may be my internet. I don't know.
no, it's probably me. I'm going to I don't wanna leave you up here by yourself, but I don't want it to echo like this the whole time either. Do you mind if I try to leave and come right back?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll be right back. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. Can you hear me? It's not echoing now, I don't think. Oh, crap. For a second, it wasn't echoing. Okay, it's no big deal. What I may have to do, I'm gonna mute you for a second to see if it's coming through on your end, okay? Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Okay. YouTube doesn't seem live stream friendly these days. I know, Indigo. I think that's what it is, and it's no big deal. I'll just whenever I'm responding, I can mute it and then bring her. Yeah, it's okay. And I'm not even. I'll do it on my end because I don't want her to have to. But I think that's what it is. It's no big deal. It's not that bad. I just wanted to see if it was where it was coming from. Okay, um, so that's the three different types, and with Miranda, she has the most extreme, um, or I guess, would it be considered the most rare?
I believe with the latest like statistics, it's actually the most common. Like between that and the meningocele, but I may be like misremembering, but I believe it's the most common one.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, I want to go through, let me pull up these questions I asked. And if you guys have any, if there's anything in particular that you can think of while we have Miranda up here, feel free to drop them in the comments as well or in the chat as well. But I did send her a list of questions just for her to look over and stuff. And we'll also go through Rachel's as well, because like I said, she has a completely different type, and she actually has a job. She works full time. It's very different, as I said, like um with the different types comes different challenges. And but she was I'm so grateful that she took the time to answer them as well. So let's see here. I went way too far. Hold on, you guys. Let me go back to go back down. Got a little bit too quick with my scrolling. Okay, let's see. October. Okay. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm never prepared for nothing. I'll be late for my own funeral. I promise you that. Okay. Well, hold on a second. I had to have skipped it somehow. Hold on. There's the link. Go back up. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Whew. I was about to wonder. I was wondering. Okay, so um something I was very curious about. You have the same kind? Oh, okay, Rachel. Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. So I thought it was a different kind. That's that's crazy. Okay. So something I was curious about because I know that it's a birth defect, and more times than not, other than like what I just read with the occulta type, a lot of times you find out while your parents find out while pregnant with you. So I was curious if your parents knew before or after birth. Hold on, let me unmute you. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry.
It's okay. My mom, she figured out about my spina bifida. She said like when she was like 7 or 8 months pregnant.
And has she ever talked to you about like what the doctors said to her, like when they found it? Like, have y'all ever had that conversation, what they told her when they did find it?
Yeah, she said that it's basically like they gave her like the worst case scenario, which, it could have been, you know, possible that it was that way back whenever I was born, but they basically told her that I would never walk, talk, never would have a normal life, would basically just, give her the worst case of everything, and basically was saying that she should get rid of me, to put it lightly.
Oh
And
my.
whenever she decided not to, and was like saying, we want to keep her, and they were like they didn't treat her very well.
That is so sad to me because we talked about this as well on the phone, but it breaks my heart because I feel like you are the perfect example of someone who beat the odds of what the doctors thought you were going to be capable of. In my personal opinion, you speak very fluently. I know it's something you're self-conscious about, but I can hear you just fine, and I think you're amazing. You're very capable. You're editing. You're so creative, so artistic, and it breaks my heart that sometimes because of being uneducated, I think they're in the medical field, and it's came a long way since then, I'm sure, but a lot of times doctors can also be uneducated on a disorder or a condition and kind of jump the gun on a scientific way and be like, well, there's no use, there's no hope, and they're not all that's not always the case. So I'm glad your mom um, you know, gave you a fighting chance. And I'm glad you're here. It's like I told you, you've changed a lot of people's lives and impacted a lot of people in a positive way. And I think everything happens for a reason. So I just think, as if it was me as a mother, I couldn't have done that either, because you want to be able to give your children a fighting chance no matter what, and no matter what a doctor says, because doctors don't know everything.
Yeah, and it's like it's not even that. I had like a really severe form. It wasn't really high up on the spine or anything like that. It was just they, you know, back then they gave me a life expectancy of 13,
Oh my goodness.
but
Wow.
I've lived way, past that. And now there's, cases that have come up that people are living till like they're 90 years old, come to find out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing too. Um, if you don't mind me asking, how how has spina bifida affected your quality of life, especially as you've gotten older? Have you had a lot of, I know that you are in a wheelchair and and everything, but how in other aspects, how has that affected your life? And as you've gotten older, has there been other things that's popped up, other concerns, anything like that that you would feel comfortable sharing with us?
Yeah, for like the first, like, I think it was like 10 years of my life, I was able to pretty much walk and everything like a normal kid did. But once I got past 10, I would start needing my wheelchair for long distances. And then it got to wherever I was, I think like 16, 17, it got to where I needed the wheelchair full time. And I started suffering from chronic pain. Then, just like as the years have went on, my pain's gotten worse.
Yeah.
But other than that, it hasn't really, you know, really negatively affected it. Other than the fact of that I needed to be homeschooled, and have some
Yeah.
surgeries and stuff like that. But other than that, it hasn't really like majorly affected my life.
So up until you were 13, you were able to walk on your own without any aid or any wheelchair or anything. Um, I'm sure that you remember, like, what were the first signs of, like, how did that start? Did you just start having pain in your legs or just start having a lot of pain? Like, I'm sure that was a process that you went through from, being able to walk and everything, and then just little by little, did it just start with a lot of pain?
Yeah, whenever it first started, it got to where if I tried to like be on my feet for very long, my legs, especially my knees, would
Yeah.
start really hurting. And if I pushed it to a certain point, it got to where I would just fall to my knees because my legs could not physically hold myself up anymore. And
Yeah.
like if I was to go to like a grocery store or something like that, I would have to sit in the middle of the aisle if I didn't want to fall. And it just
Wow.
got gradually more like shorter and shorter distances. And then I got to where we started using my grandma's wheelchair after she died, and then, until we moved down here to Texas and got to a spina bifida hospital that I was able to get a wheelchair that was made for me.
Okay.
Made.
I'm sure getting one that was like customized to you probably helped a lot. The Carls was asking, do you have to do occupation or physical therapy? Hold on, let me unmute you. Not fast enough. Okay, sorry.
It's okay. Whenever like I've done physical therapy and stuff like that off and on through my life, like
Mhm.
especially since moving down here to Texas, because I got set up with an actual spine bifida hospital, but
Oh,
it hasn't been like a solid thing, especially since becoming an adult, because there ain't really any adult spina bifida hospitals near me,
Yeah.
and
That
because of my pain, I can't go long driving distances, so we're kind of stuck until there's one that comes here to around here, like around Dallas or something like that.
yeah. Yeah. Um, Indigo also, which I know you can see the comments, but she's also in Texas. She said if it's not too intrusive, she was curious if it was Texas Children's.
I was going to Scottish Rite Hospital
Oh, okay.
in
Okay.
Dallas.
Well, and it's sad to me. This kind of goes back to the fact of, again, I don't want to be offensive or anything. I just feel like there's not a lot of common knowledge on spina bifida, because like you're saying now, even in where you reside, it's like finding the care and stuff has been a challenge. Do you feel like because do you also feel like that as someone who is experiencing it and this is your life and you live with it? Do you feel like there's not enough awareness or education or research on spina bifida?
Yeah, like even with it's mainly with like the older doctors and stuff. Even a lot of them they don't know what spina bifida is, especially if they're
Yeah.
not like a neurosurgeon. Like if
Hmm.
they're just like a normal doctor or even something like a urologist or something, they
Yeah.
don't know what spina bifida is, especially if they're an older one. Like even if like about like 5 or so years ago, I was seeing my primary care doctor, and he was asking what spina bifida was. If I was born with it, I'm like, yeah, it's a birth defect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And
so it's
that
like,
in my opinion, that makes it hard too, because if we're not educated as a society, it's hard to, like I said, I've heard of spina bifida, but I wasn't truly aware. I knew it was a birth defect, and I knew that there a lot of people with it were immobile, but I didn't know the ins and outs or the science behind it. I never heard anyone ever really talk about it, and it's sad to me because I feel like it is a very important one, rare or not, or whatever. I think it's very important. Whenever I started discussing this a few weeks back or whatever, I had a couple of people in my chat saying, I also have spina bifida. Thank you for talking about this. And, I want to make it clear, if I haven't already, I'm definitely not a professional. I definitely don't know everything about it, but I'm open to learning. And I think it's important for us to learn more about it. Um, so, so with it, of course, there's a lot of, when I do think about it, and when it is talked about, and you and I've also discussed this as well, there's a lot of misconceptions, like the doctor telling your mom, well, she doesn't have a fighting chance. She's not going to be able to talk. She's not going to be able to do anything. You know, that's how severe it is. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions like that, where people think, oh, there's if you have spina bifida, you can't do anything. Like Rachel in the chat, she works, she has a job, she has she's a person, a normal person who works, and yes, has challenges. Pete, Miranda, same thing, has challenges, but you're a person, it doesn't take away from. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions. And when it is discussed and talked about, you hear a lot about the negatives, or how, um, it's impactful in a negative aspect. But I was curious if there were any positives you've been able to take. I'd like to hear the negatives, how it's affected your life in a negative way, but I would like to also hear, the highs and the lows of being someone with this diagnosis, and how it's, affected your life. Are there any positives that's came out of this diagnosis for you?
Yeah, I think it has made me, I think I would hopefully have been understanding anyway, but being, through what I have been and being disabled has made me more understanding of people that have disabilities and have, different conditions, whether they're born with it or not. It's made me more understanding and want to raise awareness for different issues, even ones that I don't have and my family don't have, which I would hope that I would have been like that anyway, but I think that's just solidified it for me to, do stuff like that.
Absolutely, girl. I can imagine. I can imagine. I've kind of had that fire under me just as an advocate and, your friend. And looking, because like I said, even if you Google it, you guys, I feel like there's just bare minimum information about spina bifida. And so it's kind of lit a fire under me as well to want to advocate more and look into other things as well, not just spina bifida, but other diagnoses and disorders that don't get a lot of attention. And with it being October, I definitely wanted to take this opportunity to do it for spina bifida in particular. Now, Indigo made a good point. It's called a textbook case, and a lot of times it gets dismissed, but there is no textbook case of these kinds of issues. It's such a spectrum. I 100% agree. I feel a lot of times, especially in science with doctors, they can kind of just judge based off of the textbook and what the textbook says. But humans are very complex and we are fighters too. So it's like you could have all the odds against you and still, that doesn't mean anything because we're very complex. We can fight. And you're a fighter, Miranda. You are a fighter girl. And very
Thank
inspirational too.
you. Thank you. But yeah, that what Indigo says, that's true. It's like, it's that way with any condition really, but especially spina bifida, it's like it depends on the severity, it depends on the location of the defect. If the kids growing up they get the physical and occupational therapy or not, it's like there's and then like if they have other conditions, which most with spina bifida have other conditions that come with it, but that also plays a part into it. It's like there's all kinds of things that can change
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah,
case.
absolutely. And that's where I feel like foundations like the one that I was reading to you guys at the beginning make such a huge difference too. Research makes a huge difference in everything. You look back at, we were talking about cervical cancer, for example, yesterday, and how back when I was a child and my mother got it, it was like the research hadn't came so far. There was no medicine to prevent it. There was just so much, and we see this all the time with so many disorders. So to say this is a textbook case and we're just, this person doesn't deserve to live or they don't have a fighting chance, there's no reason for any doctor to say that. I I'm not a doctor, but if I was, I could never say that to somebody because science and research has came so far, and it's only expanding, and we're only learning more and more and more. And that's why I think foundations like that are so important, because in our lifetime we could see so much good be done to where someone with spina bifida or some other disorder that are told they don't have a fighting chance, a medicine, a cure, like there's the possibilities are endless. And we can't just throw that away and say, oh, there's no cure or there's no this, because just because there isn't now doesn't mean there never will be. That's the whole point in research, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like, even in the last few years that I've, been looking into like more about it, like they've been finding out all kinds of stuff of like, how much folate women need to take, and like, it depends on if they have family members that have it, if they themselves have it, or if they don't have any history of it, that changes the amount of folate that the woman needs,
Yeah.
and they find out, like one of my like neurosurgeons, whenever I was a kid, he developed the fetal surgery for babies with spina bifida,
Hmm.
and that wasn't a thing whenever I was born. So it's like things are changing, and so it's like for people to just be like, oh, you don't have no quality of life possible. It's like you
That's
don't know
sad.
what they can,
See.
develop
Yeah.
any year now.
Absolutely. I agree. Indigo, well, Rachel said it perfect. Not each person is different. Amen. 100%. And Indigo also said, while it's appreciated that any doctor dedicates time to these issues, they also tend to underestimate the willpower of these fires when they try to predict what they can and can't do. And I agree. I think that's a major problem, again, in all aspects when it comes to doctors. I mean, I understand. I appreciate what doctors do. They have a tough job and everything, but a lot of times, even with addiction, which is different, but I have a personal experience with that. There were so many people when I was on maintenance medication, that was so many doctors that I've seen that were so uneducated on, maintenance medication, and they seen it as a negative, and they were so just misinformed and judgmental based off of information in the textbook of it all and everything and it's not black and white. Nothing is black and white, nothing. And that's basically just the moral of it.
Yeah, I agree. It's like even nowadays, people are still like that, just like the
Hmm.
way that they are for something that I have history with the need for pain medication, and
Yeah.
everyone looking at you like you're a seeker. It's like, no, I genuinely need it. I've tried all other options. I
Yeah.
even have a spinal cord stimulator, and I still need some pain medication.
Oh, we're probably going to talk about that a little bit too if you're up to it. I remember, wasn't it around this time last year or something? They stuck something in your back and it was supposed to help.
Yeah, it was just in September of last year that I had the trial done, and then this month, last year, I had the permanent one put in.
And what was that supposed to do?
It what it does is it shoots out, like, I guess you would call it like electrical pulses, kind of like what a TENS unit is,
Um, I don't think
like
so.
like the stickers that you put
Oh
on
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
skin, and it shoots out like a buzzing type
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's like that, but it goes inside of your spinal cord. It has leads that they put on, like, I guess, like the nerve, and it's supposed to block the pain signals.
Okay. So
Yeah,
did that
it's huh?
did that help you any getting that put in?
Knocked it down like probably about halfway. But I still need, some days I still need my medication, but it's a lot more manageable, especially if I'm not up doing a lot of activity. It's a lot better.
That's good. That's really good. Um, let's see. Zoom, we don't have a waiting list. Oh, okay. Yeah. So what was, let me see here real quick. There was something else I wanted to ask you as well. Oh, so from your perspective, is there is there anything about spina bifida? Hold on, let me pull this back up. That's the only thing I hate. Every time I have it up and then it goes away. And then I have to scroll back up. Okay. So I did also want to ask you if there was anything that you would personally like people to know about spina bifida that you don't feel gets enough public attention. If there's anything at all that you would like to ask someone who experiences it.
Yeah, basically that, you know, especially if your babies or kids' spina bifida defect ain't very high up on the spine,
Mhm.
that it's very possible that your baby will be just fine. They'll be able to have at least, a pretty um quality of life. It's not, that they're not gonna be able to do anything that a normal person would. That may be different. Like if it has the defect, like at the shoulder blade or neck level, something like that.
Yeah.
But but otherwise, it's most likely that the baby will be fine. So don't, panic.
Right.
No matter what the doctor tells you, like if it's a low defect, most likely it will be able to have a really good life. And there may be, tough times where the baby needs surgeries or mobility aids, stuff like that. But it's not really going to most likely get in the way of the baby's quality of life.
Absolutely, I agree, and like I said, just the little bit that I know now, I can say that for a fact because that kind of brings me into, and I would love for you to, if you're not too busy and you can, to stay up here and talk about this with us because Miss Rachel, she also has the same top. Sorry for the misinformation there. She also has the same top as Miranda, and that goes into what Miranda just said. So the way that she found out, I asked her essentially the same questions, but I do know she works, so I wanted to ask. I asked her also how it's what it's like to work with spina bifida and the challenges of that, and we'll get into that. But she explained a little bit the way her parents found out that she had spina bifida is she had two twin sisters. So prior to her, her parents had twin sisters, and they were C-section via C-section with so she was also a C-section, and she was born back in the 80s when spina bifida, there wasn't, you didn't really hear about it a lot, just like you, Miranda, like not a lot of education on it. And so you didn't hear about it when the baby was in the womb. It was usually something that was found out after the baby was born a lot of times. And she said it's a blessing that she was born through C-section. Her mom didn't know anything until after she was born, and she was born through the birth canal. If she had been born through the birth canal and not through C-section, she would also be wheelchair bound and way worse than she is right now. So she is mobile. And that goes into what you just said. That's amazing. Something, just that small detail of being C-section and not, were you born via C-section, Miranda?
Yes, I was. I was born
No.
by C-section. Like I think my mom said like 2 or 3 weeks before I was due because they did a amniocentesis where they take some of the amniotic fluid and test it, and they found that I had a bowel movement in the womb,
Mm-hmm.
and so they had to take me pretty much right then because my back is open,
Oh my
and so
goodness.
they had to do it pretty soon after that.
Wow. But see, that just goes to see like two similar cases, and um I just think it's amazing. It's amazing. The body and just the everything that makes us up, as is incredible in my personal opinion. Now, I asked her the same thing on how spina bifida had affected her quality of life, and she answered saying that she has had to adjust a lot so that she can have a full life to live. She says the older that she gets, the harder it is for her to do easy, like simple things. But over the year, and plus, weight gain, things of that nature has also caused a lot of issues for her. And she said it's like a catch-22 scenario. She says she needs to work out and do things like that, but it's hard because of the pain and things. Um, it can make it really difficult. Have you struggled with your weight as well, Miranda, or no?
I've just been sitting here shaking my head. Yes, I totally relate to that. I Growing up, whenever I was able to walk normally, I was maybe a little bit overweight, but it
Hmm.
wasn't anything like major. But as time has went on, I've been able to move less and less. Plus, we don't know what the deal is yet, but I've been having last few years, a lot of trouble with my swallowing and I've had like bad texture issues,
Yeah.
and so that has pretty much made me limited on what I can eat. A lot of it being not the most healthy,
Yeah.
and so everything just snowballs into me gaining weight, which makes it even harder for me to move. And
Yeah.
so it's been like tough to balance it and be able to lose any weight where I can move more, and just it never works.
Well, right. And, I also can relate to, a little bit, as someone with MS recently found out with that. And there's a lot of chronic pain with multiple sclerosis as well. And weight gain is a massive thing. And it is super hard to, when you're in pain like that, or having a flare up or anything like that, it can be really hard to push through, and sometimes impossible. It's impossible when you deal with chronic pain. Being able to do just the basic things can really be a challenge. um, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions about that, like you say, with medicine and stuff, and people thinking like pain medicine for me, because I do have a history of becoming addicted to medications and stuff. I'm really, really, really scared of pain medication. And even though now my body needs it, I'm still, it's scary. It's scary. So I try to take things that are not like a narcotic, ibuprofen, things of that nature to help. But as it goes on and the older I get, it has become harder and harder. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions about pain medication because of that. Sometimes we truly need it. And I think doctors a lot of times can play into it as well with the misconceptions because of addiction and stuff. Because at the end of the day, it does kind of go hand in hand. Your body does become reliant on that medication, but if you need it, you need it. Like it helps you. So while yeah, your body kind of relies on it, it's also a need.
Yeah, it just like it snowballs into each other. It's like you don't want to get, reliant on it. And even if you're not like, I guess it's mentally addicted to
Hmm.
it, I guess
Yes.
it's like your body itself gets where it depends on it, and
Hmm.
especially if you hurt anyways, it's the like if you don't take it, it causes your pain to cause more pain. So
Yeah.
it's like what do you do?
Absolutely. That's the worst part about it is when you don't have it, when your body relies on it and you need it, at like legitimately need it, and it's prescribed to help you. When you don't have it, you hurt worse. Your muscles tense up, you ache all over worse and worse and worse. So I completely do relate. I can relate to that personal aspect. Chronic pain is so difficult, and anybody going through chronic pain, like, just know, like, you're not alone, and I feel for you. I know the struggle is so real. But I think it's really cool. You and Rachel have a lot. She said she also has texture issues as well, so she can relate to that. Like, there's just so many similarities. I'm glad you guys can kind of relate to stuff like that. Um, let's see if
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah, it's crazy how much we've got in common.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool, and I'm glad we did this because support is everything. I think no matter what, it is, we all have something. We all struggle with something, and finding support and having support, finding other people who also struggle through the same things, or people who are open to learning, and just, all of that, it really makes such a difference. Indigo said, what doctors aren't getting, though, is if people addicted to it can't get it legally, they'll get it illegally and more dangerously without doctor supervision. I agree. I agree. And that's where a lot of the issues come from, when it comes to, and I know everybody's different. Like, there are people out there that abuse their medications and overtake it and stuff, and it kind of gives everyone a bad name. I know, like I said, there was a time where I did the same, but again, it's nothing is a textbook case, nothing. And you can't judge from this situation and say, oh, okay, because this has happened so many times, and then you have someone with MS or spina bifida, and they come in and they need help, to look down on them or be like, oh, because this has happened so much, we got to go through all, like, I just don't agree with that. That's just my personal opinion. Bliss Chris said doctors are being negligent as far as distributing or not prescribing pain medication to people who actually need them, all in fear of government coming after them and their license. But the government officials are, you're right. You're right. It goes back, a lot of it goes back to that. I agree.
Yeah,
Um,
I totally agree, Bliss Chris. It's like they're saying, they're doing something, pretty good, like to make it where it's harder for the people that are just using the pain medicine, and but they're also making it hard for the people that actually need it because the
mhm.
doctors are scared that they'll get in trouble,
Yeah.
which there ain't really a right answer for that, I guess, because it's like, what do you do?
Yeah. It's a double edged for sure, but I think it's one of those conversations that doesn't need to be closed off. I know there's a lot of issues with pharmacies as well. If you get through the doctor and the doctor says, well, I think you're right, you need this, then you a lot of times have issues with the pharmacy trying to say, well, because of this or because of that, we can't do this. It has to be like, and then you can wait a week. And sometimes with someone with chronic pain who is down to their last dose and they need that prescription, waiting a week could literally be detrimental to them without their pain medication.
Yeah, exactly. I've had to wait like 2 weeks with absolutely none of my pain medication in the middle of the winter when I have usually have the worst pain,
Mm-hmm.
and it was terrible. It's like I was like, come on now, it needs to be some way for me to be able to get something,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even like a major strong pain medication or anything. I've never really been on anything powerful or anything other than after surgery in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. So Rachel said, growing up, though, I had a lot of medicine to the point I got immune to them. Needed stronger medicines. Thankfully, I'm off of all of those now. Only vitamins I take. That is really awesome. And I think that's another one of those misconceptions as well. I think while yes, a lot of people with spina bifida need the medication for pain and to be able to function and stuff, that's not always the case. Again, it's not a textbook situation. I did ask Rachel the same thing if there was any positives that she could take away from her diagnosis, and she said a big positive is that she got or has a job due to her disability. I thought this was really cool. She said, I went through what we call an Indiana vocational rehabilitation. Through them, which is a state funded organization, she was able to get her job. It is state funded, it's a state funded organization. But she said keeping it has been up to her and her abilities. She's been working there since October 2005, and it's the only job she's ever had. Another position she sees is another positive she sees is that she can relate to others on a totally different level than most, since her outlook and thinking is different than they had, just like you, Miranda. But I don't know. I just thought that was really cool that she was able to get a job and they worked with her so that she could work. That's so cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. I wish there was more jobs like that that
Mm-hmm.
you know because you have that condition or whatever it may be, that you get a job because of that. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's not common enough that's like that.
Yeah. And I hate that. I wish that it was like that in all places where they offered more resources like that for people with conditions or disorders like spina bifida, where it's on the in the regular world, it's very hard to find a job that you can do that works around your disability. But I think they should have more resources in every state to where they can do that, even if it's just, what, like, I don't know, a desk job, or there's so many things they could just make more opportunities, because I know a lot of people, even with disability and stuff, you can work part time. And I know there's a lot of people with different disorders and conditions that are on disability, but would love to have even just a part time job to make their own income and not be reliant on just the disability aspect.
Yeah, I'm one of those that I really wish that I could have some sort of job, whether it's only like 10 hours a week or something like that. But my pain just don't allow me to, like, because I've got to be able to lay down and stretch out and stuff every, like, at least once an hour or so, because I started getting really achy and stuff. So it's just not possible for me right now. I'm hoping once we get my pain situated and like with figure out a medicine for my arthritis and stuff that I would hopefully be able to at least get a part-time job of some kind.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be cool, and I hope you can. I hope you can find something, or even if it was like an online job, that would be cool. Just something to do with your time, because I know you and we communicate a lot, and I know you say, you get bored, you've got all this time on your hands, and I also know that how life-changing it would be to just be able to make your own income, and even if it's just a little bit, like, self-wise, I'm sure that would make a massive change, just within yourself.
Yeah, it's like I would love to also just be able to, which it probably won't ever happen, but I would love to be able to get off of disability because they put a lot of limits on people that have to have disability, like they can't get married or anything.
What?
Yeah, dude, at least in my state, if you get married, you lose your disability or limited.
That is actually crazy, girl.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I learned about that here a couple of years ago from my friend because she's got a long term partner and they can't get married because she would lose her disability and her partner's income wouldn't be enough to make up for it.
Yeah, that's actually wild to me. Rachel also said she's married and her husband, who has CP, can't get SSI because they're married. I think, see, that's what I mean. That's so crazy to me. I understand that they have to have restrictions and rules in place, but that feels so unfair. That, like, oh, the government, you guys. We could have a whole conversation about the government alone.
Yeah, especially whenever it comes to like the disability rights and stuff. It's like
Hmm.
I can't remember the exact amount, but you can't have more than like 1 or 2 thousand in your savings at one time because they take that as you're not needing that
Hmm.
money. It's like a lot of us have to save up for like surgeries or thing medications, stuff like that. It don't mean that we don't need that money.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when that's not enough to live on. I'm sorry. I don't, especially in the world we live in today with the inflation and stuff like that. That is just absolutely crazy to me to expect that a person, even just a single person, could live off of that kind of income in the world that we're in today. It's not, oh, that is just ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous to me. I did want to, the last question I had asked Rachel, and I felt like it was a good perspective with the work aspect of it all and working with spina bifida. I said, I asked her, I said, also, just to add to this, I would love to know more on what it's like working with spina bifida. I said it would be amazing because that way it would bring awareness on two different perspectives. And she said with her work, she doesn't have a lot of extras that others don't have. She says the cubicle that she has had to be modified to fit her wheelchair in and out of, but that's it. And that she had certain, like, special equipment that some of the people, most people around her, had as well, so it wasn't like extremely rare or different. She said that she said with work, I might work at home more than others in colder weather due to her disability, but that's really it. The rest of it, not a whole lot of differences or issues or complications. She said that others see her push through, and she said at work, others see me push through and work when they know I'm hurting, and it does motivate them to do the same. I'm sure it would. I'm sure it would. It's like, what am
Yeah,
I complaining about?
yeah, that's really cool that they. I don't know whether she just did that like on her own or the job, modified it for her. But either way, that's really awesome that they were able to do that for her.
I agree, and that's what I mean. I wish there was resources like that for every state. I think it would make a massive difference with people with any kind of disability. She said people get around. Rachel said people get around that by getting out money and putting it in other people's accounts or hold on to the money. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Like there's different ways to kind of, you know, beat the system, if you will. And it's sad that people even have to do that. And like we shouldn't, if you are on disability, in my personal opinion, okay, I don't feel like people should have to. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to worry about it, especially with it being that low of a amount that you have to stay below. It's
Hmm.
like, how is it possible that that is the limit where they're like, oh, you must not need this money? It's like, no, that don't mean I don't need the money.
Well, yeah. And again, it just goes back to the simple fact that we all need the money right now. Like, honestly, I know there's so many struggling in the world. Things have just gotten financially, it's a struggle. And I'm glad we kind of talked about this aspect of it too, with people on disability, because I'm not on disability or nothing like that, but we're a one income family, and it's really really hard. I could imagine being on disability with just that one single income. You already hit restrictions on how much hours you could work if you can get a part-time job. And a lot of people on disability are in a position like you, Miranda, who it's difficult for you to find a part-time job that you can do due to your disability. Working around that alone is a challenge, but then even if you do find one and find one that will work with you or whatever, then you can only work so many hours or you lose your main income. And I hate it. I hate it. There's a lot of there's a lot of negatives when it comes to disability as a whole, I feel like.
Yeah, it's like there's there's a lot of, I guess you could say, good things, but there's a lot of negative too, especially whenever it comes to the like the expenses and the being able to bring in income aspect to it. Otherwise, it's not all that bad, as overall. But whenever it comes to like the being able to make enough money to survive, it's especially nowadays, it's hard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I couldn't even imagine. I don't, I really couldn't. No worries, Tina. I'm glad you're here. It's so messed up, Zuna. So messed up. Do That was all the questions I could think of. I want to thank you both Rachel and Miranda, for taking the time to even answer these questions for me and for all of us. I'm so grateful. Is there any questions the chat has that I haven't asked, or that you would like to ask specifically? Let me know if so, or if you're on replay, leave them in the comments down below, and we will definitely be keeping an eye out. maybe do something in the future, or if it's something we haven't already discussed, you know, I'm sure Miranda, I told Miranda this since she is a content creator. I would love to hear her, you know, talk about it more and talk about, you know, just her everyday life and her everyday challenges and just different things. I feel like there's so many misconceptions and just not enough education when it comes to spina bifida. And I know I would totally 110% support you opening up and talking about it more and what you go through on a day to day, how it affects you, and just all of it, all the misconceptions, everything.
Yeah, I'm definitely, especially once I get more used to talking in front of people and stuff, I'm thinking about starting to do that. I just gotta get more used to putting my voice and stuff out there now, especially since, I'm not sure about actually showing my face.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna have to figure out a way to be able to, do that, but also be able to share about all of this.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you know, no rush or anything like that. Just know that I will most definitely support you and spread the word when that time comes. You know, and I know you'll have tons of people backing you and supporting you with it. And I can't wait. Take your time. You're doing amazing. You don't give yourself enough credit, girl. You're doing incredible out here, with your live streams and your videos and just everything. Zuna did ask, she wanted to know if you were monetized on YouTube, and if not, do you still have a lot of hours to go before monetization?
I'm not yet, but let me see how far I have to go. Just a second, let me get on my studio app.
Okay, yeah, no, that's no problem. Also, while you're looking that up, I don't know if you can still hear me, but if so, Rachel was curious if you also have hydrocephalus as well as spina bifida.
Yes, I do. We're not sure if I still have it like actively or not because I've actually never been having to have my shunt replaced, which is very, very rare for people with spina bifida and hydrocephalus. Usually they have to have it replaced pretty frequently. And every time that they have done like an MRI or anything of my brain, they haven't seen anything. And so we don't know if it's still active or not, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. That's actually while you're looking up about your monetization, I'm going to Google that real quick just for anyone who doesn't know what hydrocephalus is and give just a quick little breakdown for anyone interested. I think I also did leave some links down below on that as well. Hold on, what is? Let me meet 1 second, you guys. Hold on.
Okay, with as far as my watch hours, I need just under 1,400 watch hours for the first tier of my monetization, which is for the super thanks, super chat, and memberships. And then for the monetization through YouTube ads on my videos, I still need to be 2,400 watch hours within the next little while. It says it has to be within 365 days. but I don't know what that would mean, when I have to hit it by.
Yeah, it can be a little finagly with YouTube, but you guys go show her some support, and go check out her videos. Something that I've been doing lately just to try to show that extended support is putting her videos in like a playlist. It's privated, but I can make it public if you guys want to go and also do it yourself. But whenever I'm not, active online or whatever the case, I'll just pull up that playlist and I'll put it on loop, and I'll watch all the videos in that playlist because that goes towards her watch time. She's already hit the subscriber part, which is incredible. She's killing it. But I just want to help her get there because YouTube's not like some massive money or nothing, but I know it could just make such a difference. And I know, again, even if it's just within yourself, how awesome that would be. I know that's a goal of yours. I want to help you get there. So you guys definitely go show her some love and support on that aspect. If you have the time, I would appreciate it. I know she would as well. Real quickly though, I do want to say that, so I looked up what hydrocephalus is, and it says a buildup of fluid in the cavities deep within the brain. The extra fluid puts pressure on the brain and can cause brain damage, and is most common in infants and older adults. So my question from just reading that is, spina bifida, isn't that the same thing? Like, does a lot of people with spina bifida also struggle with hydrocephalus? Because I know when I was reading about spina bifida, it said the same thing. A lot of times, the fluid builds up the spine and the brain. So do they a lot of times go in the end?
Yeah, most, I think it's most people with spina bifida have hydrocephalus as well. And then also a lot of people have what's called Chiari malformation, which is where the back of your brain can go into, like, sink down into your brain stem, which can be fatal. And we didn't know I had that until I was, I think, 18, when I had an MRI and they found that I had a slight one. And then, like, a little while later, they did another one to check up on it, and it had gotten a lot worse. And so, a few years ago, I had to have what's called a decompression, which is where they just put like a patch type thing underneath it to keep it up. That way, it can't go down into the brainstem anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that makes sense. That's why I wanted to ask, because there seem to be a lot of similarities between the two. And Zuna, thank you. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, you guys share this out with anyone you think would be interested as well. Hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. Rachel said that a lot, yeah, she said the same thing. So most people with spina bifida do also have it. Okay. I'm not sure how. Oh, hold on, let me go back up. I missed something. You've never had to have the decompression, Rachel? Um, well, that's good, right? That's good.
Yeah, especially if they don't have the like a bad one or anything, they can get away with not doing it, but they just usually have to keep an eye on it. That way, they can catch it if it just suddenly gets worse. Because anything can make it get worse. It can just develop that way, or something cause it to go further into the brainstem, like coughing or anything. And so you've got to keep an eye on it. Even me with my decompression, I have to get checks on it because it can fail at any time. That's what's bad.
That is so scary. Oh my goodness. That's terrifying. Something as small as a cough can change it. And that's what Rachel said too, is it can be scary when the shunt gets blockage in it. Um oh my goodness. That's terrifying.
Yeah, luckily, it I've had it done for quite a few years now, so we're knock on wood, hoping that that means I won't be able to. I mean, it won't happen to get worse because since I've had it done, I've been sick. I've had stomach flus that have caused me to trigger warning vomit, and I haven't had no issues. So we're hoping it's healed and it's gonna be all good.
Well, and that was something else I'll ask too, before we wrap this up. I know also, just since I've known you, there has been a few times that you've gotten really sick and gotten sepsis and ended up in the hospital for like long periods of time. Does that play, is that because, like, due to the spina bifida, do you, or and the hydrocephalus, do you tend to get something minor turn into something very extreme like that a lot of times?
No, not so far, at least with the hydrocephalus or the Chiari, but because of my spina bifida, I have to have a Foley catheter, which stays in my bladder all the time, and so I get a lot of urinary tract infections. And sometimes, for some reason, it I don't have symptoms of it, and so it can develop into a kidney infection and sometimes even sepsis with no warning. And I just wake up one day with a fever and feeling like I've basically got the flu, and I end up in the hospital.
Yeah, that's so scary. I know there's been at least two, maybe even three times since I've known you where that's happened, and you would be, feeling just a little under the weather one day, and then the next day in the hospital and be there for like a week. And we always pray for you and stuff. But I wanted to ask that because I know that's the thing for me. Is, a minor cold, like I'm down, like not in the hospital but just sick. So as a minor cold or something, I'm down like that, and it takes me so long to recover. So I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, it can be hard. It's like I'm usually good with just like normal colds and stuff. Sometimes it will develop into a little bit of bronchitis, but I'm usually fine after a few days. But I have to be careful even still to not get the vid, if you know what I mean. And because we don't know how that will affect me because I'm a full-time wheelchair user, and so my lungs are restricted, and
Mm.
plus really overweight, so that don't help matters, and so we don't know how it would affect me, and so I've got to be even still not to get it.
Yeah. Rachel said also that she said, I really understand that. I've had 3 ruptured bladders, and now I don't have a bladder due to that. My goodness. Oh my goodness.
Well, I've luckily not ever had that. I think I've nearly have, because sometimes my Foley catheter will get blocked, and because we don't know what the deal is, but with the stoma that they gave me to do the catheters through, it will like get restricted, and so I have to go to the urologist every couple of months to get them to exchange it for the catheter for a new one. And sometimes it will just get blocked in between them changing it out, and I have to go to the emergency room for them to, take it out and put a new one in. And there's been times that we've been in the emergency room for like 12 hours or more waiting on the doctor. And by the time that they get it in, I, I'll have so much urine built up that it fills up, them, like, uh, what they call the urine bucket things, them
Yeah.
tall ones, if you ever seen them, it's like filled up that plus some. And so I was lucky not to have my bladder rupture.
Yeah, that's a blessing because and it just sounds really scary. And that's the thing with the emergency room as well. Like, oh, there's just so many things. I feel like I understand. I don't want to be too hard on doctors and their jobs. They've got a tough job and they save lives. And so I'm not trying to say like negative things about the medical field. I just feel like there's a lot of work, just like anything else that could be done. And with the emergency room, a lot of times, yeah, you'll wait for so long. And I know that they are doing the best they can a lot of times, but then sometimes it depends on like what hour you go into. Because for me personally, I've had to go in if late hours, when it's late hours at night. It can, and I know it depends on like where you're at, the place and stuff too. But like the hospitals local around me, it's like the later you go, the more the less treatment you're gonna get. It's just not gonna be as um, they want to get you in and out essentially, unless you're, you know, really truly an emergency situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not, saying, that doctors are not good or anything like that. Because I mean, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be alive today. But it's like, which it makes it harder the fact that whenever I have to go to the emergency room for, exchanging the catheter, I it don't help that I have to have my specific doctor doing it because he's the only one that knows how to do it, because of the strictures plus the surgery I had for that ain't a very common one, and so we pretty much have to get only him to do it. And so we gotta wait until whenever he's available to come in and do it. And
Yeah.
so don't help matters.
Yeah. I could imagine that's difficult if there's only one doctor that really knows how to do it. um So again, you guys, I'm going to scroll back up really quickly and put Miranda's channel up on on the screen. If you guys want to go check out our channel and show her some love and support. We are at about an hour 40 minutes in, so I think I'm going to end this quick or soonly. I always say soonly, and I know it's not a word, you guys. I know it. It's the silly thing that me and my friends have said forever. But anyways, I want to thank Miranda and Rachel both for coming on again and sharing with us, and, you know, just sharing their experiences with us a little bit more. All the links to everything, all the information we went over today is in the description down below if you would like to go and check it out for yourself. Replay crew, the chat, and get a better understanding on spina bifida. But thank you, ladies, so much for coming on and taking this time today to talk with us more. I hope that all of you that watch this are able to take something away that maybe you didn't know before and are more aware, because that's what makes change, in my opinion, is educating ourselves and being more aware. And I'm very grateful. I'm grateful to you ladies. I'm grateful to everybody for being here. And thank you. Thank y'all so much.
Yes, thank you everyone that's been in the chat. Thank you for being here to support and ask any questions that you have. And I want to thank you, Wildflower, for allowing me to do this. And I hope I can come onto your channel again someday and just even whether it's about this or just to talk.
Yeah, girl, you're welcome anytime. I've always told you I've wanted to get you up here for a while, so I'm glad we were able to do this. I do want to apologize for any audio issues, you guys. I've been trying to like mute and unmute, mute and unmute. So if it's a little staticky or a little echoey in places, I do apologize for that. Gotta love live technical difficulties, but this was really important to me to get out before October was over. I wanted to do this badly. So yeah, thank y'all for bearing with me, and we appreciate y'all. Is there anything else you want to say before we go, Miranda?
Um, no, I don't think so. Other than the that, please, y'all don't feel obligated or anything to donate or anything like that. I just wanted to give the opportunity to anyone that did want to and could, and
Mm-hmm.
here to support this stream and everything is good enough.
Absolutely. I agree. The information's there for anyone interested, but there's never any obligation. I want you guys to know that as well, that y'all just being here means a lot to me, to all of us. And we appreciate you so much. And yeah, with that, I'm going to say one more time, you guys give this video a big thumbs up, share it with anyone that you think would be interested. And until the next one, you guys, bye.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.